Good day. Welcome to another lesson on our Entrepreneurship Master Program. Today we are looking at the skills program, how to implement systems and procedures. And under this skills program, today's topic is how to implement or how to develop a quality management system. Okay. But I'll start with the overall topic on how to implement systems and procedures, and then we'll get into the topic of the day, which is how to develop your quality management system. And I'll go in detail in terms of what is a quality management system and why is it important for an organization to develop a quality management system. All right, now back to how to develop systems and procedures. Okay, systems and procedures, these are the systems and policies and procedures that organizations develop to make sure that they provide customers with one, consistent and quality service. And secondly, making sure that they comply with all the legislative requirements, they do things the way they're supposed to do. And fourthly is to make sure that they manage their business the way it's supposed to be managed, following standards. Because without you setting up or developing policies and procedures, if you don't develop these policies and procedures, that means your business will not have standard way of doing things. Some businesses, they develop call it systems and procedures or policies without documenting them. You just do things and then you get used to doing them in a certain way, and the organization grow by doing things in that way without you physically developing them or writing them or documenting them. And yes, that will continue until maybe someone passes on, and then the system will be broken because some people might not know how certain things were done. So if you don't document, yes, the business will operate, and in most cases will rely on you as an entrepreneur or as the person with the skill. And then when that person with the skill, something happens, maybe if you are partners, you fight, or they pass on, or they decide to start their own business, then the business will not have a reference point to say, how are we supposed to do what we're supposed to do, the way we used to do it. That's one. So in terms of the business, you might not have a sustainable business if you don't document your systems and procedures. That's how critical your systems and procedures are. So as an entrepreneur, yes, you might have the expertise, the experience on how to do certain things. But to make sure that the business doesn't rely on you as an individual, you need to document the systems, how you do your work, how do you go about it, so that even if you are not there, then people will know what to do. It could be on the operation side to say, let's say you are manufacturing laptops. You might know how to manufacture them. So they might give you the parts and you put it together and you produce a final laptop. Yes, you can do it, and you have to be there because no one else might know how to do it. And God forbid, you drive out, you get hit by a bus. It means your business is dead because you won't have anyone in the business who will be able to do or assemble the laptop the way you used to. Yes, they might have a general knowledge on how you were doing it, but the consistency, how you put the parts, how you oil it, whatever it is, which part you put first and which part you put last, and the experience that you gain over the years to say, if I do this way, then it will cost maybe the laptop to malfunction or all those things. So that knowledge, it will not be captured. Meaning the people who come after you, they might not know how to do it the way you're doing it. Okay, it might be a blessing. They might come and do it better, but most of the time they might not even be able to do it. That's why generally businesses, even when it comes to entrepreneurship, big businesses, black, white, you find that they don't last 3 generations, because most of the time you find that this small business, they don't have systems and procedures on how to do things. They don't last 3 generations. It will be the first generation that develops it. Maybe the second generation will continue from where the first generation to finish, but the third generation might not have the knowledge of the first generation. They might learn from the second generation, but even the second generation might not have a complete knowledge of how the first generation develops certain things. So as it goes, then the businesses, they tend to die in their third generation. That's research. Researches have been done on that, to proven that that's what happens. And the main thing that has been identified is lack of systems and procedures. Lack of systems, basically. Systems are not documented. People are not trained on the systems. People are not educated or trained to make sure that they understand how they are doing certain things, but most importantly, why are they doing it? Why are they doing them the way they're told to do them? That's where the importance of a system is. Sometimes people can understand how to do it, but they might not understand the why. Because with the system, you have to outline why are you doing certain things, how are you doing certain things, and then what are you expecting from that process. So it addresses the questions of what, why, how, and then the result. What do you want to achieve, or what should be achieved from doing certain things in certain ways. But if you just show a person that no, if it's the pouch like this, when you put the glasses, you put them upside down or whatever, and you close and you put it here. Most of the time, you might not even tell them why. They will continue doing the thing the way you told them to do, but without them understanding why they're doing the things the way they're doing them. I know there's a story about monkeys. So the first monkeys were put in the cage, and the cage had stairs, and on top there they will put bananas, whatever it is, and they put in the first 6 monkeys in the cage, and then every time they go up, they will pour them with cold water so that they don't get to those bananas. And they continuously did that until to the point that the monkeys accepted that when you go, those 6 monkeys accepted that when you go upstairs, they will pour you with water. Okay. Now, as time goes, as they continue, as they go up, they pour them with water. As they go up, they pour them with water. They started replacing some of the monkeys there. As they accepting that as you go up, they will pour you with water. So they stopped going up. And then they took out the 2 monkeys, they brought in the new ones. And then the other ones told the other one, no, you don't go up there because they will pour you with water. And then those 2, they didn't go up. And then the other ones, they replaced the other 2. Then there were only 2 original remaining now. The other 4, they haven't been poured with water, but they have been told that if you go upstairs, they will pour you with water. And then as time goes, they remove the last 2 from the original, they put the new one. And even those 2, they were told you don't go upstairs because they'll pour you with water and all that. Then they repeated the cycle over some time. And once they finished the 6th group of monkeys, then those monkeys will sit there and not go up because they've been told not to go up. But when they will ask, why are you not going up? They didn't know why, because they kept losing the information of why they shouldn't go upstairs. They just knew that they shouldn't go upstairs because in the experiment they replaced the original monkeys that were poured with water. Only information remained, and as they continue, they even removed the ones that had information, and the ones that remained in the cage, they didn't even have information, but they knew that they shouldn't go up the stairs. That's how the business environment works. If you don't develop systems and procedures and document them, eventually your business will end up failing. Or if it doesn't fail, but it will lose the original objective or the original way of doing things without even knowing why they're doing certain things in a certain way. Hence, this story is linking up to the fact that into the third generation. In the third generation, it's when a business, most of the time, the business that you establish with the first generation will establish a business, the second generation will continue but struggle, and then in the third generation, the business dies. It's because of lack of systems and procedures which are documented. Yes, you can tell someone how to do certain things, but eventually they won't even know why they're doing it. And they lose purpose, and they'll end up to destroying the business. So even for your business, to make sure that you build a long-lasting business, you need to make sure that you implement systems. You have systems and procedures in place so that you can have a continuous business that is sustainable. It's very, very important for entrepreneurs to understand this, that without systems and procedures, one, you wouldn't be able to provide consistent quality. Two, you wouldn't be able to keep the things the way they are in terms of customer service. Customers will not know the product that you're selling, meaning they don't know the quality of the product that you're selling. Because if you don't have systems on how you do things, today you're going to make your fake cakes this way, tomorrow you do them this in a different way, the following day they are different. So when the customers come, they don't know what to expect from your service. So if you put systems and procedures in place, this helps your business to provide sustainable business or sustainable product that entrepreneurs or customers will be able to relate to. So that's the little background on systems and procedures. These are the things that you need to understand as an entrepreneur. And in most cases, small businesses fail because they don't implement systems and procedures. Okay. And as you will know from the previous lessons where I always emphasize on systems and procedures, one of the case studies that we have that really knew how to implement systems and procedures is McDonald's. McDonald's grew to what it is today because they implemented systems and procedures. They had processes. So they standardized their process and they documented that process to make sure that if you walk into a McDonald's today as a crew or as a floor person or a kitchen person, they'll take you through the McDonald's way of doing things. They have systems, they have trainings in place. They know what they need to teach you. By the end of the week, you will be a pro. You will produce the same quality burger as the person that has been there for 10 years, whatever. The taste will be the same because you follow the same process. Maybe the speed might not be the same because with experience comes efficiency, but in terms of how it's supposed to look like, the things that needs to be in there, how it's supposed to taste like, you will know it within a week. And you'll be able to implement it consistently going forward. That's how you build a sustainable business. And again, most of successful businesses that we see, maybe your retail stores, your fast foods, those businesses, they are successful. So for me, actually, most of the time, entrepreneurs can implement businesses. It is easier to implement businesses that do the run-of-the-mill stuff, like maybe retail business or fast food, without providing anything innovative. Just to have systems in place and consistency so that your customers come to your business, they know what to expect. Yes, initially it will be finder where you're trying to find what your customers like, but once you hit the product that your customers like, then you need to implement systems around it to make sure that you are consistently providing them with that product. They know that when they come to you, like when they go to KFC, they'll get a KFC. They can't go to KFC and find that today they made KFC like they made chicken nugget. So that's the systems and procedures. That's the first thing that makes, or the one of the reasons why it is important for entrepreneurs to implement systems and procedures. The second one is succession planning. Remember, you don't want to be in busyness, meaning you're always busy. Without putting the systems in place, you will always be busy because people don't know what to do. Certain things are known by one person. There is no system. But if you develop a system, even if you are not there, even if you had to, go on holiday, people will know what to do when they face certain situations. They will know how the payments are processed. They know how to communicate with the suppliers. They know the customer service. They'll know how to process or to produce goods and services. If there is confusion, they go to your systems and procedures. Then they read what they're supposed to do if this thing happens to be this way. So in that way, it creates what you call succession planning in terms of the business. You can be replaced in the business, and maybe you continue building relationship with stakeholders rather than being focused on making sure that the operations is operating. You can develop systems and procedures. Yes, it takes long sometimes, and it's a tedious process to develop systems and procedures. But if you don't develop them, then you'll spend your time doing the same thing, being in operations, rather than being strategic and expanding the business, growing your business. So if you want to grow your business, or if you want your business to be self-sustaining, you need to make sure that you develop systems and procedures. Because without that, then your business will struggle. That's the importance of systems and procedures. That's the second reason. And the third reason that you need to consider putting systems and procedures in place is because, personally, I believe many SMEs fail because they don't have systems in place. Remember, statistically, depending on which research you read, it's about, they say 70, some goes to up to 90% of startups fail within 3 years. And yes, you have many reasons why small businesses fail. One, access to funding, access to markets, lack of skills, poor financial management, and all those things. Red tape within the organization, to the country, or whatever, legislation, and all those things. There are many reasons why small businesses fail, right? But one of the key reasons is lack of systems. Remember, if you start a business, right, if you don't have a system, how are you going to manage your finances? Then that is going to lead to poor financial management. If you don't have policies and procedures, how to access markets, how to manage customers, how to provide good customer service, if you don't have systems around that, that will lead to poor customer service, or that will lead to failure to access markets. If you don't have policies on access to funding, how you manage your funding, your investments, and all those things, because you will not be proactively working on it, you might fail to secure funding and your business might fail. If you don't have a quality management system within your operation, then you might not produce consistent quality product, or you might not be efficient in your operation. Then that will lead to your business failure. So yes, there are many reasons, but if you look at them closely, it's just that many researchers that you read, they don't go to the root. Okay, they think there are root problems, like your access to markets, access to funding, a lack of skills, poor management, and they think that's your root cause of startup failing. But I don't believe that's the root cause. The root cause is systems. So if, as an entrepreneur, you can establish the systems from the word go. Obviously, everything that you do, it must be based on a system. It must be based on processes and procedures. Yes, that's not a guarantee that you will be successful. Or you can set systems that will suffocate your business, right? If you set inappropriate systems and procedures. And there are a lot of things, the economy can tank and all that. So it's not a guarantee that your business will succeed, because there are still many other factors. But I can tell you this, if you have systems in place, that gives you better chance of succeeding than if you don't have systems. Yes, it's not be it and end all, the systems and procedures. But if you set up systems and procedures, then they will give you a better chance to fight certain things. You'll experience downturns, you'll experience risks and certain things that will happen in the economy. But if you have the system, you might be able to navigate those problems that you are facing easier. Okay, it's like, call it you are in a sailing ship, or you're in a ship, and then there will be storms, whatever. The sea might start behaving in a certain way. But if you don't have a compass on where you're going and how you're gonna get there, then you might get lost in the sea. But if you have your compass that will guide you during the storm, then you have a better chance of arriving where you're supposed to be going, because you have a compass. It doesn't guarantee that you will. I mean, the sea can be, it's a violent thing. The storm can be heavier than your ship can handle, and then you'll perish. But if the storm is not that heavy, it's not that violent, and you have a direction, or you have a compass to guide you, then you might be able to navigate and survive the storm. But without the compass, you might not survive. That's how systems and procedures are important to a business or to an SME. So as an entrepreneur, make sure that you spend some time on developing systems and procedures so that you can be able to navigate the storm. You will encounter storms, you will encounter rain, there will be problems. But if you have systems and procedures, then you have a foundation. Your foundation will be stronger. Your business will be able to stand storms. Okay, not all of them, but yeah, it will be able to stand. But without the foundation, because systems to build a solid foundation. So without systems and procedures, your business will not be built on a solid foundation. So if the storm comes, then it will be, okay, not always, but it might be wiped away. Or you might survive, but the damage might be high, and then it will cost you more to fix the damage. Rather than if you had systems, you'll be able to manage certain things. For example, if, let's say, there is fraud within your organization, if you don't have a good financial management system, you might not pick it up until it's late. But if you have systems and procedures and certain things, you do proper reconciliations, and a person cannot approve the order and approve the payment, and there are segregation of duties. Those are some of the policies or procedures that you can put in place. Without the systems, that fraud, you can realize maybe after 10 years that, I've been losing money on this and this because of this behavior. Because you don't have systems in place. But if you have systems in place, you might be able to identify that challenge earlier on and take corrective action. So it might be a storm, that fraud within your organization. But because you have systems in place, you might be able to navigate that storm. But if you don't have, the fraud can just perpetuate until it takes your business down. That's what I'm trying to, the message that I'm trying to drive here when it comes to systems and procedures. So it's very, 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 very important. It's critical for SMEs to set up systems and procedures. All right, so that was the background on systems and procedures. And I was just highlighting the importance of SMEs setting up systems and procedures to make sure that they can navigate the storm. The storm will come, it's guaranteed. But without the systems and procedures, you might not be able to navigate. Okay, so now we're going into the topic of the day. The module that we're looking at today is a quality management system. Look, the quality management system is part of the systems and procedures, but this one is specifically focused on the operation side of things. Remember, you can have a financial management system, you can have HR system, you can have a marketing system. The quality management system is for your operations, right? So generally, if you look at our program, it's broken down into 10 platforms or 10 skills program. Each skills program is focused on specific component of the business. Remember, we're looking at one, business planning. You must have systems and procedures on how you do your business planning. When, how, what you're supposed to achieve when you're doing the business planning and why you're doing it and all those things. That's on the planning side. 2, access to market and marketing. You must have your systems and procedures around how you do your market, how you develop your new product, new markets, how do you manage your customers. 3, in terms of funding, how do you access funding? How do you structure your funding, your borrowing, your equity, between equity and all those things? So that you must have policies around that to say how you're going to reinvest, how much is going to be paid as dividends to your shareholders, how much is going to be reinvested, how do you expand. To such things will be under your access to funding, which is the third component or third skills program in this course. The fourth one will be on around HR. How do you manage employees, disciplinary hearings, performance management, and those things? You must have systems around that. The fifth one is on quality project management. Remember, as a business, whatever you do, it's generally a project. You might have a project to improve performance, a specific project that the customer wants you to implement. It might be a project for branding or a project to raise capital. So there are certain activities in different departments that you must always classify them as project and plan them as project so that you can have the beginning and the end. And you know what you're supposed to, the objectives and when the result has been achieved, so that you can close the project, put it away and start another project. So the fifth one is you need to have policies around project management. Okay. The sixth one is on supply chain, which is related to what the topic that we're doing today, which is a QMS. So supply chain is where money is made, where the margins are made. Depending on how strong your supply chain processes are, how efficient to the process that you have implemented are, that's where it's either you make money or you lose money. So you need to have systems and procedures around your supply chain. Okay, 7, you need to have general administrative systems and procedures in terms of working hours, confidentiality of information, managing communications and all those things. Those are the just general systems and procedures. You need to have systems and procedures for your systems and procedures. 8, you need to have the financial management system, where in terms of reporting, bookkeeping, when you issue your financial statements and all those things, you must have a system that helps you do that. And then 9, you must have a stakeholder management system, because remember, I always emphasize that your business is not operating as an island. It's got key stakeholders like your community, suppliers, employees, customers, and all that. So those are stakeholders. And you must have proper systems and procedures and processes on how you deal with your stakeholders. It's very, very, very important. And 10 is on corporate governance. Corporate governance is making sure that you do the right thing, making sure that your business is a good corporate citizen. You are transparent, you are responsible, you are accountable, you are fair in your dealings. That's corporate governance, to make sure that you do the right things. You need to have systems and procedures around that. And remember, corporate governance has got to do with appointing the board, having proper management structures in place, having proper risk management in place. That's what is called corporate governance. And you shouldn't ignore that. You must have a system. Yes, I know, okay, I've mentioned appointing the board. Remember, you don't necessarily have to appoint expensive board members. You can create a board member, you can find a mentor, you can find a funder to be part of your board. Maybe your accountant can be part of your board, and it could be you. Then 4 people, you make a good advisory board so that you are accountable, you can report to the board, you'll be able to manage risk and all those things, because that advisory board will be bringing in valuable information. But you must have a system on how you're going to manage that process. Because remember, these 10 things that I've mentioned, I believe, or at Super Dealmaker, we believe they are key components of building a sustainable, scalable business. Because the main thing is, establishing business is one thing, but to scale it and to grow it, to build that legacy, you need systems in place. And for this program, we have identified these 10 things that they are important for you to building a sustainable business. And you must make sure that you've developed systems around them. Okay, just run through, I'll repeat them. The first one is make sure that you do proper strategic and business planning. Second one, make sure that you know your market. You understand how you're going to access the market, how you're going to manage your customers, provide good customer service. That's access to market. The third one is how you manage funding, in terms of how you're going to fund your business, what the best funding structure. Policies around that is critical. The fourth one is building a learning organization, making sure that you develop skills, you maintain and you identify and maintain competent employees or competent workforce. You need to have policies around that. The fifth one is project management. You need to be, when you're executing projects, make sure that you have processes and you have procedures in place to execute projects so that you don't disappoint your customers. That's 5. 6, you need to make sure that you have systems and procedures in place. This is the topic that we're discussing today. 7, you need to make sure that you have a financial management system in place to make sure that you don't play around with finances. Remember, you are in business to make money, so you must have a financial management system that works. 8, it's on supply chain. Make sure that you have efficient supply chain, because that's where money is made. That's a 8th system. 9, you need to make sure that you have stakeholders. You look after your stakeholders, your employees, the community, the customers, the suppliers. You build a very good relationship around those. And the last one is on corporate governance, making sure that the governance, you do the right things. You do the right things, you are transparent, you are accountable, you are fair in your dealings. Those are the principles that we believe at Super Dealmaker that are key to small businesses, or business, not necessarily small businesses only, to businesses building sustainable and scalable ventures. And the intention of Super Dealmaker is to grow and make sure that is to grow SMEs, make sure that they do things efficiently. And there we provide them with a platform. I mean, with these 10 key systems that we're talking about, if you go in Super Dealmaker, you'll find that we have developed platforms to make it easier for you to implement all 10 of them, so that you are productive in the way you do things. Because remember, entrepreneurship is a jungle. So with these tools, we're providing you with the system. That's actually the key objective of why we have a Super Dealmaker platform, to provide you with a system that will help you navigate the jungle called entrepreneurship. You remember I was giving you the example of the ship earlier on. These systems will enable you to navigate the sea. Even when you are experiencing storm, but if you have proper systems in place, you will be able to sail through the storms because you have a good foundation. So now we're looking at QMS. It's called QMS, Quality Management System. So quality management system is specifically for operations, right? Sometimes in certain sectors, to get an approval, like if you want to get an SABS approval, you need to have a quality management systems in place. Because remember, SABS gives you an approval based on the process that you follow to produce certain things, what you add in and whatever. If we're talking about the bricks, you need to make sure that you have a system that you follow. They approve the system like SABS, not necessarily any other thing. They need to make sure that you have a system that produces a consistent quality. So it means your product that you are producing, it must be consistent. That's what mainly, obviously the ingredients and all those things, how long your product lasts and its safety and all that, they take that into account, right? So once they're happy with your product that you submitted for testing, when they come for site visits and when they conduct their audit or when they assess you, they are looking at your system. That is your quality management system. So you need to make sure that you have a quality management system in place if you are producing anything. Even when you're providing services, you need to have your quality management system for your operation. Even I know in training, I know RMK is heavily involved in training. For you to get an accreditation for training, they review your quality management system, because they're not going to be there. They're not going to be there to babysit you. So if you have a functioning quality management system, they know that they can rely on the system to ensure that you produce the quality or the learners that meet certain standards. You see actually it's very, very important lesson that you need to learn. You see the sitters. Eventually, when you conduct accredited training, the sitter needs to provide you the certificate. Ultimately, they give you the certificate. But it's not the sitter that's out there facilitating the training, right? So for them to be able to issue the certificate, they need to be sure that the service provider provided the training the way it's supposed to be provided. If the training provider declares a learner competent, that means they followed a certain process. That's a quality management system that the CTS is looking for. Then when they come to your verification, they look at your quality management system, and there are certain things that they want to pick in the process to say you have IDs for learners, you have attendance registers, did you give feedback to learners, did you do this, did you use the material that was approved. So when they come, because they can't be there every day, to monitor you, to make sure that you are doing the training the way you're supposed to be doing it. They rely on your quality management system. Okay. And now it goes back to you as an entrepreneur. You don't have to be there supervising people that, that break, did you mix the concrete the way it's supposed to? No. You look, here's the system. Here's the quality management system that you need to use to produce the bricks. And you need to follow this system, this quality management system. And when you come back from your holiday from Dubai or wherever, when you come, you look at your quality management system. You check, have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? Or you can put maybe a random spot within the quality management system to see if you've done things the way you're supposed to do. Then you don't have to be there. It allows you, it gives you that freedom to say you don't have to be in the business, but you can manage your business using the quality management system. So if it's there, you know what needs to do, how long, how many things they need to mix, whatever. So even the employees will know the things that they're supposed to do. They will follow the quality management system. And then you just monitor the quality, quality management system. You don't have to be at the factory or in the business every day if you have a quality management system. Okay. So a quality management system, what it does, or what you do when you're developing your quality management system, you look at your operations, right? And you look at the activities that you're supposed to be doing within the business. Then you develop the quality checks, the things that you're going to check for, to make sure that things are done the way they're supposed to be done. To make sure that, ultimately, remember, a quality management system is to make sure that you provide your customers with consistent quality product. Doesn't matter if it's high quality, low quality, whatever the quality that you're providing, but there must be that consistency. And you use the quality management to manage your operation. Even the employees or your team will know what they need to comply with. Then let's look at maybe a spaza shop. Simple. Okay. If you have a quality management system, to make sure that you give good quality service to your customers, maybe your store needs to be clean. So you'll put your systems in there to say, when you open, first thing, you dust whatever, you clean, right? And then you do stock count, whatever, to make sure, not necessarily stock count, but you make sure that you have the necessary products that you'll be selling, the fast moving, what. And then you do what? You put your cash flow, whatever, in your cash register to make sure that you have change. And then what else? You make sure that the fridge is opening, is functioning. You check the things that you need to check. The cameras are still on. Then once you've done those things, then you are ready to open the store. Then you open the store. But you give them time as well to say, you open the store at 8. It's part of your quality management system. You open at 8, you take lunch. Let's say if it's one employee, you close between 1 and 2 so that you can go out to lunch. And then you into it from 2 and 5. Then it's open house. Then you're going to close at 5. That's one of the things that needs to be in the quality management system, so that whoever is in the shop know when they need to come in, what are they supposed to do, when they're supposed to take their breaks, and when they knock off. That's quality management system. And then as well, you can state that if a customer buys maybe more than 10 certain products, you need to repack the shelf from that where that product is being moved. And then how often do you walk around, make sure things are back in place where they're supposed to be. Okay, that's one of the quality management systems that you put in place. And then when you close, you need to, before you close, an hour before you close, maybe you clean and you do stock count, where you're making sure that what has been sold, what has been bought, and then you do your cash out, where you are cashing out. Your stock count versus your sales report must balance with the cash that you have in hand. And then once the cash is is counted and all that, and then you do the banking. If you are in a mall, you can calculate and then you put your bags, and there's a process of how you do the banking. The supervisor will be the one who takes the money to the bank, or the owner will come and collect the money. If the owner doesn't come collect the money, you put the money in the safe. And then as you leave, then you set the alarm to make sure that they don't break in. So you see, the quality management, it's a simple. You can have a quality management system for a spaza shop, so that when a person comes in, operationally they know what they're supposed to do. Yeah, it's okay. There might be certain things that I've missed in this quality management system of our spaza shop, but you can. I'm just giving you an idea of what is a quality management system. So this thing is to make sure that when you service your customers expect certain level of professionalism from you, or a certain level of service. And if you do these things consistently, then your customers will know that when you come in at the store, I like that store because every time when I go in the morning, it's clean. Okay. And then after lunch, when I go there, the shelf have been repacked and it just looks nice. It smells good, and there are small things that attract customers to your business. But if you don't have a system in place, or a quality management system in place, then you might struggle with providing your customers with consistent quality service. Now we're going into the benefits of implementing a quality management system. Okay, first, the quality management system defines your processes, and it identifies areas of improvement and the things that you need to control. So that's the first thing. That's the first benefit. So it controls things, making sure that it's easier to control things. And then as you're looking at the processes, it makes it easier for you to improve on your service to your customers. So there must be certain standards that you set, and they are defined well in your quality management system. And if you set it and employees follow it, or the organization, not necessarily employees, everyone follows that quality management system, obviously you're going to improve your service, and you'll be able to control certain things. So you wouldn't be struggling with not knowing how to assess performance of your team. So with the quality management system, it will help you to be able to control your team, to be able to improve your processes. And then two, look, it reduces waste, right? Let's say if you are manufacturing, if you don't follow a certain process, you might end up wasting a lot of resources, right? Maybe if I can give an example with maybe if you are maybe truss making, roof trusses making business, there's certain process that you need to follow. You cut the logs, you put them in a kiln to heat them so that you remove the water, and then you go into the plant, then you cut them, then you pack them, then you cure them. Okay, putting them in the kiln is saying cure. You cure them, then you put them in the production process. Some they put them back in the, if they are joined, they put them in the curing area. You can use the kiln again. They cure them and they pack them, right? So that's the system that they use. So in terms of when you have the quality management system, you'll make sure that when after cutting the trees, then when they're delivered, you need to remove the rough, whatever the edges there, and then you put them in a kiln for a certain, maybe for an hour or two, whatever, I don't know how long they put them, so that you remove the water. But sometimes the water, if they're too wet, they can damage the machine there that cuts the wood into the trusses. So you must not make them, they must not go into the machine while they are too wet. So they are a little bit, you remove certain moisture, then you put them through the machine. You know the machine, the speed that you set the machine at, making sure that it cuts, and then you know how you're going to pack them and all that. Remember, if you do them that way, obviously over time you learn that if they are too wet, maybe they break the machine, it becomes wastage, or if they are too wet, they become too heavy for the saw to cut, and then you need to spend more on electricity or oil and generators and all that. So that's waste. But if you have processes that your employee needs to follow, they'll know that they shouldn't put the wet locks into the chipper, that machine that cuts the locks. Because if they put it there, one, they're still wet and heavy, they'll damage the saw. You need to run, they need more power because they are wet to cut through and all that. That is waste. So if you don't have a system that you follow, one employee will wake up today, I just want to put them. They just put them in there. And then you lose money. It becomes a waste because you need to run a heavier machine and maybe the blades gets damaged and all that. So it can cost you to lose a lot because you don't have system in place. So that one stops wastage. Or it not necessarily stops wastage, but if you have a proper quality management system, it will reduce wastage in your process. Right. And then it applies to other things. I just give you an example of that. But you know that if you don't do certain things in a certain time, then it costs you a little bit more. It's like maybe, I don't know, if you are in food space, if you don't defrost your meat, it might take long to cook, or it might not come out the way it's supposed to come out because you didn't follow the defrosting process. And that is waste. It can cost you more money if you don't have systems in place, because some people will do things their own way. So those are just few examples that to show you that having a quality management system can save you a lot of money, or it can reduce wastage in your business. Okay, and then having quality management system too, it also reduces or prevents mistakes, because people will know what to do when. Right? So if you don't have the systems, or if you don't have a quality management system, if there are certain things that you do, if you are maybe in a quality restaurant industry, how long do you supposed to grill this patty? If you don't have a system to say you need to defrost it for 5 minutes or 20, whatever, an hour, and then you grill it for 2 minutes, you need to put it in the whatever cooler, whatever that you need to put it in, and then you put it in the bagger, whatever the process that you need to put you through. So that is the process that makes sure that you eliminate mistakes, because a person who knows the quality management system will know what to do. But sometimes people, if you don't have that, instead of defrosting the patty for an hour, they don't defrost the patty for an hour. They defrost it for 2 hours. And if it's defrosted for 2 hours, you might find that it reacts differently when you put it on your grill. Or they defrost it for 50 minutes. When they put it on the grill, still have ice, and it doesn't come out the way it's supposed to come out. Because remember, we said systems and procedures are there. Quality management system is there to make sure that you produce constant quality. So if the systems to produce the best burger, you need to defrost your patty for an hour. If you do it for less than an hour, it might, end of the day, not produce the burger or the quality burger that you are known for. So your employees can make those mistakes. And we don't want that, because we want our customers to get consistent product. Okay. The fourth one is on lowering the cost. Remember, if you set up a system, right, you know how long it takes you to defrost certain things and certain things. So instead of you do things in a certain way. But if you follow a process or a quality management, if you follow a system, you can reduce the cost of your operation. On this one, I'll take you back to the McDonald's brothers. Look, what they did is they looked at how they were operating, right? They were cutting burgers and the store was not structured. So the fries were on the other side, the patties were on the other side, the lettuce were on the other side. The employees will have to walk from that side to go to get the lettuce from the other side. The cheese is stored there. So what the McDonald's brothers did, they looked at the operation to say, how do we set a quality management system? Then they went, they were dramatic. They went to the court and they drew the process down, and they played the game where they're practicing how the system's supposed to be before they design it and put it in the store. So they went there for the day, and then they practiced making burgers to make sure that the employees within the system, they take limited steps, and things are within reach for the employees. And that saved them a lot of money. Because remember, they were selling a 15-cent burger. They didn't have a serious margin business. So if you are mass producing your product, you need to make sure you cut unnecessary cost in between. So that's what the McDonald's brothers did. And by them setting up the shop the way they did, where it is limiting movements and things are where within reach of each employee, then that reduced the time that it took them to prepare the burgers. And that now improved on the customer service. That's why even now McDonald's is really fast. When they say fast food, that's McDonald's. Because they have systems in place. They had a quality management system to make sure that employees follow certain steps so that they reduce the number of time or the movement that the employees are supposed to make, and that improved their margins from the burgers. So and the cost, because if employees are moving around, obviously you're going to need more employees than if you set up your business in a way that one employee can be on the grill, do the chips and grill, instead of one employee doing the grill here, the chips is on the other side and all that. So you have a person, if you put a person on the grill, he's got the chips. So you can have one person instead of having two people. And then on the prep section, you'll have your cheese there, your lettuce there, your pickle there, whatever it is that you put in the burger, they're just here. One person can reach the product that they need to put in the burger and maybe wrap it and put it in the tray for the front person to give to customers. So you can reduce a lot of activities by redesigning your operation in a way that it follows a system. It's systematic. And the more you think, you have a systematic thinking, the more you'll be able to reduce the cost of your operation. Okay. And then with the system as well, it also helps. Now, the sixth benefit of having a system, you are able to train your employees. When you lose an employee, you have a quality management system that is there that will help that employee or a new employee get up to speed. You're not stressed about how we're going to train the employees and all that. It doesn't depend on the facilitator, it depends on the quality management system that is there. That's one of the other benefit. And the other benefit is it helps with the staff engagement, because the staff will be able to give you inputs to say, but this process, if we are using it like this, it might not help us, or it's not helping, maybe we should do it like this, it might improve. So it gives you room for improvement, because everyone can see the system, they can come with the innovative way of improving it. So it makes your business a learning organization in a way that you're continuously learning and improving the system. These are the benefits of making sure that you have a quality management system. in place for you to be more competitive. Because without the quality management system, you might not be that competitive. You might be wasteful. You might make mistakes. You might be operating at high cost. And if you're operating like that, then you might not be competitive out there. So for you to be competitive out there, make sure that you implement a quality management system within your organization. It's very, very important. If you don't know how, the Super Team Maker platform, we have a quality management platform where you can input your organizational details and it generate it for you, and then you can adjust it wherever you need to adjust it. But we created this platform to make sure that SMEs manage their supply chain process, because that's where the money is made. I keep on repeating this. Your supply chain process, make sure you understand it, you identify the key areas, you develop a quality management system, and you make sure that you implement it and you train your employees on that quality management system. It's your way to being competitive. It will make you competitive, effective, efficient when it comes to cost and stuff. So make sure that you develop your quality management system within your organization. Make sure that you continuously improve on that quality management system. It's not just for compliance. It's to help you become more efficient. Because I know, as I said earlier, there are certain industries like SABS, your training industry, I think your mining, people who are giving you licenses and stuff, they want you to have a quality management system in place. So don't just do it for compliance. Make sure that you do it to improve your operation so that you become more competitive. And that's our lesson on quality management system. And for entrepreneurs and businesses out there, or business managers, make sure that you implement systems in your organization. By implementing systems, it will help you scale your business to new heights, and it will contribute towards sustainability of your business. I thank you.